My husband's working really late tonight, and I made this, and he's about to walk through the door and find me eating it.
What is going on in here? It's a Monday night.
Hey guys, welcome back to my YouTube channel. Today we are talking about the first quality in a woman that I believe every man should look for. This is the first video in a series of videos to truly help you guys, helping you decipher the right kind of woman from the woman that you absolutely want to avoid. Because guys, it is not just about you working on yourself, being a good man at heart, and doing all of the right things. The truth is that you can do all of that and be all of that, and you can end up in a marriage where nothing you do is good enough. You never feel love from anyone other than your children, if you have any, and your home is not where you feel peace. And the reason why, as men, this future is so important to avoid is because, as men, there is no easy out, no easy do-over, because men do not fare as well through divorce as women do. Let's be honest. Men on average, they are the ones that have less time with their children. They lose more of their assets, and they are the ones usually paying child support. With that being said, I'm about to reveal the first quality in a woman that I believe every man should look for, and then I'm going to show you a woman that demonstrates this quality versus a woman that demonstrates the opposite, red flag quality. Guys, listen up. The quality that you want in a woman is lightheartedness. A woman that can pull joy from the simplicity of everyday life. That woman will create feelings of happiness within the home. She might do this through a sense of humor, a caring nature, through deep, intelligent conversation, or through her goofiness. The opposite quality to this, which should be an immediate red flag for you guys, is seriousness. This is the woman that's day is ruined because of the smallest, most insignificant thing. And I bet you anything, for most of you guys, with me just describing that type of woman, you probably just thought of somebody in your past that was like this. Next, I'm gonna show you guys two women that are on both ends of that spectrum. So the first one I'm showing you is the one that is completely lighthearted. I love this video, loved finding it. It feels so good, and she shows her man's reaction to something that is just so innocent and goofy. The second one, if you hang in there, you won't even believe that this is an issue that this woman is having. Her husband is not in that video, but she actually describes him as an incredible husband that helps around the house. And he does all of the right things. So I'm sure that a lot of you are going to have opinions on that. With that being said, let's watch the first video.
My husband's working really late tonight, and I made this, and he's about to walk through the door and find me eating it.
What is going on in here? It's a Monday night. This is ridiculous. How many mashed potatoes is this?
There's 2.5 boxes worth of mashed potatoes. Would you like a dino nugget?
Unacceptable.
I saved you some.
Yeah, I'll help you eat it.
Oh.
Eat your dino nuggie.
I'm actually pretty proud of you for this. This isn't so bad.
This is the perfect example of a woman that just brings joy to her husband's life. He walks in the door pretty stoic, you know, like he's just been working all day hard, and he hasn't even had a chance to eat dinner. But this woman, through her joy and internal happiness and lightheartedness, she gets this man to lighten up himself. Just him walking in and seeing her lightheartedness definitely uplifted his day. And that is going to make him feel like walking in that door every day after work is positive. It's going to feel like his home is peaceful. And he's not one that's going to want to sit in his car or delay going home because he doesn't really want that stress. He's going to be rushing home. The way in which you guys can decipher a woman like this when you're dating, before you actually marry them, and she's actually demonstrating these things, is that when you're dating, you have to find somebody that really draws joy from things that are completely separate from you and the things that you're doing for her. You want to make sure that you're with a woman that doesn't require a ton of attention from other men, because she's probably drawing a lot of her joy from that. And then once you commit to her, she has to say goodbye to all of that, because most women generally are loyal, and they will, especially early on, they will cut off those other ways that they're getting attention. But the problem is that if she was gaining a lot of her lightheartedness because of the attention that she was drawing from multiple men, you're never going to be able to maintain the energy and attention of 15 different men for one woman. Now, you're never going to get it right all of the time, because you don't know somebody completely up front within the first week of meeting them, and you haven't gone through trials. So what is also key is that you're not committing to that specific level, like an engagement or marriage, until you've gone through negative times, until you've gone through trials, until she's gone through bad experiences. But not even just that, but also where you've gone through the boring day-to-day stage where there's nothing that exciting, there's no huge changes in your relationship, you've kind of just plateaued, and now you're doing the boring thing, the day-to-day that's boring. You're both working, you're both coming home late, you're maybe seeing each other for date night here and there. But overall, through this boring time, if she is bringing joy and she's doing things, bringing that happiness, you have a winner right there. Now, the opposite to that is if you have somebody that, like, you've been seeing, oh, it was great to begin with, because look, guys, it's easy for it to be great when, you know, you're that new energy and effort being put towards her and she's excited over that. But once you get to that kind of boring stage, if that woman is suddenly going through hard times, you know, and like, a lot of you guys will just dive in deeper. You know, you're good men, so you try to support her. You try to do the right things. You try to make her happy. She needs to be able to pull that from herself, and she needs to have that happiness in her day-to-day life. You shouldn't have to draw that out or pull that out of her. With all of that being said, I am now going to show you a video, an example of a woman that is taking things very seriously. This is so silly. Her husband turned her toilet water blue in the house, and she flips out about it. So I'll let you watch the video and let me know what you think.
My husband and I have been married for 17 years. We got to the biggest fight we've ever gotten into, ever, over our toilet water. You tell me if I'm overreacting, because I really don't think I am. Okay, so here's what happened. Every single time I go out of town, my husband's incredible. Like, I travel a lot for work. I come home. He's so great about cleaning the house, doing the laundry, you know, keeping up with the kitchen. The house is always immaculate when I come home. Somehow this man got it into his head that, you know what would be really cool is if you put one of those giant blue hockey discs in the back of your toilet water, so that every time you flush, the toilet comes out blue. The toilet water comes out blue. Like it's like we live at a 7-Eleven or something. So I come home, I'm using, like, I go to the bathroom and I'm like, why is the water blue? And he's like, oh, I bought these things to put in the back of the toilet. I was like, what were you doing at the store? Looking at the aisle of all the things for cleaning items for the house where you thought that would be a good idea. Take me through that. He's like, you're making such a big deal. You're being so dramatic. I'm like, I am not being dramatic. So for a month, I'm flushing the toilet and it's still blue. And I'm complaining about it every day. I'm like, I literally, Nick, I can't live like this anymore. I cannot live with the blue toilet water. So literally, like, we're laying in bed the other night and I just go on TikTok, like, how do I empty the back of my toilet tank so I can, so that I can get rid of this blue water. I literally, like, put in the search bar, how do I empty the back of a toilet tank? He gets up in a fury, like, oh my God, you're making such a big deal about this. When did you get so highfalutin? Blah, 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 blah. You've changed so much. I'm like, I don't know what you're talking about, changed so much. Like, we live in a pretty nice neighborhood. Like, it's 2024. Like, what are you doing where you think this was a good idea? So that night, he emptied the toilet bowl somehow. I still don't know how to do it. And it's great. It looks good now in the main bathroom, but not in the master.
Many of you guys are probably asking yourself, how is this real? Is she serious? We're talking about blue toilet water. And she even admits in the beginning of her video of how great of a man her husband is, how much he does around the house. Like, he's obviously pulling his weight. But think about her reaction, because for a woman to react this way, it is because she thinks and she believes that everything she does is the right way. And if her man doesn't do it the same way, right? So like, she would never put the blue tablet in. She doesn't like blue toilet water, but he didn't do it that way. Guess what she thinks? She thinks that he's incompetent, and she treats him like he's incompetent. That is the problem, when it is simply different, right? He thought it would be a nice thing. It keeps the toilet bowl clean. And I've heard different opinions from different men saying like the blue toilet tab like is actually not good for the toilet. You really shouldn't use it. Whatever. Like, there might be justified reasons why that's not a good idea, but one time I'm sure is not going to ruin the toilet. Like, so if she didn't think that was a good idea, she could have approached it in a very, very different way. But the way that she did approach it, I think, is very indicative to how she feels and thinks about her husband. And the fact is that she doesn't respect him, and she does not appreciate those things that he does. She honestly probably just expects him to do the things that he does. And although all day long, a lot of people will argue, well, if you're living in the same house, you have equal responsibility to do those things. And it does not just fall on the woman. But everyone wants to be appreciated, even for the things that they should be doing. It is not going to be helpful in a relationship to not appreciate each other, because everyone naturally wants to be appreciated. It helps motivate them to continue to do the things that they do, especially for men. So I'm happy to hear that her husband reached kind of this breaking point, it sounds like, in which he even accused her of changing, you know, since they probably started when they were dating into marriage. But the truth is that there were probably signs when they were dating that she had to have things a certain way. And, you know, sometimes it's missed because a woman will just do the things herself when she's single, or even just when you're just dating. But then she expects a man to take over that role just as she would do those things, like once they're married. So you got to look out for those expectations. As a man, when you're dating, you want to try to like trial and error. You want to do things for a woman which like feels good, right? It's like acts of service. That is a way that you can show her love, and most women love that. But then pay attention to how she reacts to it. First of all, she needs to be able to receive it. Like, she needs to be able to say yes to those things for you to do for her. And then you need to make sure that she is really appreciating it, and she is not nitpicking. There's no like, oh wait, but you didn't do this way, because that is an indication of how she really thinks. The other big piece of this is that it's not even just that she doesn't respect her husband. It's the fact that this little thing can like irritate her. It can aggravate her in her day-to-day life, to the point at which she says she just can't do it anymore. She can't tolerate the blue water. Like, she couldn't just let it work itself out and like not put in a blue tablet again. Like, she actually nagged her husband to take care of it, and then he did take care of one toilet. And you can tell by the tone of her voice at the end, she had a but the toilet in the master bath is still an issue. So what that man did for the one toilet doesn't even count, doesn't even matter, because guess what? There's still another issue that she's having. This is that really tough dynamic for good men, because good men will try and try and try to make their wife happy. And all indicators of this story and what this woman is saying is that her husband is one of these good men that's trying to make her happy, essentially. But unfortunately, there's also indicators that she's just not going to be happy or satisfied with the things that he does. Like, it's just never going to be good enough. And eventually that'll go on. And both of them will probably build up a lot of resentment towards each other, because he's not feeling appreciated or respected. And then she's just unhappy and she's blaming him. This situation is way worse for the man because he keeps giving to the point at which he will essentially self-destruct in order to try to make her happy, in order to maintain the promises within the relationship. But the problem is that the fault is not on him. The fault is in her. And that is going to go unrecognized. So most likely in these situations, the woman will end up leaving and they will end up in a divorce, and the man is going to feel like he has nothing left in him. These are the men that will say, I'm never doing it again. I'm never getting into another relationship. I'm never going to be married in the future again, because they feel like it has destroyed them. And that is why the first quality in a woman that I believe every man should look for is lightheartedness. End up with the woman in the first example, not the second. As always, guys, leave your opinion in the comments and we will continue this series. I'm excited to talk about the second quality I recommend you guys looking for. Until then, have a good week.